Last chapter, the Tasselworms, people, they pretty much made Screwball vulnerable and rendered her completely useless. So, and then Trixie turned to a dragon, fire-breathing dragon, so D-Force, and, you know. So, 2 more chapters to go, folks. 2 more to go. Chapter 18, as one door closes, warning, you might need Kleenex for this. So, I'm trying not to get too emotional. There was an unsettling quiet when they entered the Queen's chamber, as if not even a single breath was being drawn. The room was a lot more crowded than the last time Mothball, Discord, or Mantis had entered. The nurse changed were attending to their queen, determined to make her last few moments in this world comfortable. Adjusting her pillows, laying a cloth on her head, and laying extra blankets over her body. Her eyes were staring blankly up at the canopy of her bed. Even Twilight, whose life had been almost ruined by this creature many times, was disturbed by the sight. "My queen," Mantis said, approaching the bed with the ivory chest hovering in front of him. "I brought your heart, and more." He checked for Trixie to come. She gulped and slowly trudged to her mother's side, her stomach churning at a thin, pale figure. Chrysalis squinted at her. "Who are you?" she asked in a weak whisper. Trixie glanced down and realized she was still in her pony form and changed back to her true self. "Bellatrix, is that you?" "Yes, Mother," Trixie said with a nod. "But I go by Trixie now. I've come to succeed you." Chrysalis snorted. "I didn't think they'd find you, or that you would come back after what happened last we met." She carefully looked her over. "You've changed. Not just your height, but something about you is..." She sighed. "You got your heart back too, didn't you?" "We ran into her and the others at the old castle," Mantis explained. "Others?" She rolled her head over and finally noticed Mothball, Discord, and Twilight. She couldn't help but smirk. "How charming. 2 of my greatest enemies have come to see me off. Pity the other princess and those element bearers aren't here too. It'd be like a little reunion." Twilight looked over at Disc and whispered, "I swear, if she wasn't dying..." "I know, right?" the Triconquest murmured. "So this is my grandma?" Moonbeam said, putting her front hooves on the bed. Chrysalis glanced at her in confusion. "Grandma?" "My daughter, Moonbeam," Trix explained, placing a hoof on the filly's shoulder. "I see. Well, looks like you've got the job of producing an air covered, though you'll have to help her improve her transformations. She looks like a pony mixed with a cow. Actually, she was sort of born this way." The Queen's eyes widened. "What in the world did you sleep with?" "That is not important, Mother," Trigger said between her teeth. "However, now that I am going to be queen, there is something I've wanted to tell you for a long time." She leaned forward and whispered harshly, "I am not you." Chrysa sighed. No, you're not." She winced as she let a rush of pain in her chest. "Here," she said, pulling her daughter close so their homes were touching. "It's time." The Queen's horn glowed and sent a spark to Trixie's. The jesting princess jumped as she felt the jolt of electricity. "Now let me give you one last bit of advice. Remember all those things I taught you about being a ruler." Trixie nodded. "Don't listen to any of them." The princess was unsure of how to respond to that. Chrysalis released her daughter and looked around the room. "Well, I have nothing more to say. Anyone else?" Everyone was silent. Trixie and Disco were particularly surprised that they had nothing left to say to dying Queen. Mothball glanced at General Mantis, who had a seemingly emotionless expression, but he could clearly see the pain and sadness locked away in his eyes. The prince nudged the general forward. Manus looked at him in confusion, only for Moth to wave his hoof towards his mother. Manus glanced at Chrysalis and gulped. I have something to say. The Queen turned her attention entirely to the General. He took a deep breath. My Chrysalis, I just want you to know that, well, I suppose you already know, but I'd just like to say that being in your service is the only thing that's kept me going, and he hung his head. I don't know what I'm going to do once you're gone. She gazed up at him, her eyes not giving any sign of emotion. Do it, she whispered. His head shot up. What? She put her hoof to her chest. My heart. Now. Manus nodded and opened every box, levitating the faded green heart out of it. He squinted inside the box and his eyes widened. My queen, what is... Just do it, Quistis barked. I don't know how to. Let me try. Disco volunteered, snapping his fingers. The heart vanished and Quistis sat up, wailing in pain. The nurse changed and gripped one of her forelegs, the royal children and the general grabbing the other. She shook the nurses off so she could grip her chest. Her eyes shut tight as she gritted her teeth. Memories came rushing back. The births of her two royal children, the training sessions she had shared with them, the long personal talks she had shared with Mantis, all memories made without her heart. She had never given much thought to these moments before, but now they were richer, more vibrant, and the recollection of them brought tears to her eyes. Once she had calmed down, she looked at Trixie and Mothbow and said, Children? The two rows were lumbered at the tears streaming on either side of their mother's odd smile. You're... She sniffed. You're so grown up and so beautiful. Are you alright, Mother? Mothbow dared to ask. She surprised him even further by throwing her hooves around them both. Yes, my children, she cried, squeezing them tight. In fact, I've never felt better in my life. She released them and glanced down at Moonbeam. And my granddaughter, she rubbed her mane. You're so beautiful, too. She gestured the entire room of changelings. You're all beautiful. I didn't think she'd get this happy, Tracy whispered to her brother. Then again, she's been without a heart longer than me. The Queen frowned when she met Discord's gaze. Discord, she said slowly, now that I have my emotions back, it's come to my attention that any feelings I have for you have diminished. Discord snorted. Well, would have been nice if you figured that out before you removed your heart and went on an official rampage. Quistis rolled her eyes. I know, right? All that did was make me a power-crazy tyrant with no sympathy towards... Then she suddenly coughed and fell back into her mattress. One of the nurses checked her pulse. Not that she had one to check. She has a pulse, the nurse said, but it's slowing. The sickness has reached her heart. So, Quistis heaved. I was right. She winced. It won't be long now. She turned to Twilight. Twilight, I know we've had our differences in the past, but do you think we can let bygones be bygones? There was nothing else the eloquent could say to the dying queen, except... Sure. Good. She rolled her head over to Trixie Mothball. Children, forgive me. I was denied happiness in my childhood, and thus denied it to everyone around me. Even you. But it seems you found happiness on your own. I hope it stays that way. She lifted her hoof to stroke Mothball's cheek, and then Trixie's. That way, your lives will be better than mine was. Wow, the prince said, tears foaming in his eyes. That's the most important thing you've ever said to me. Ditto, Trixie choked. Sorry I won't be able to make it to your wedding, Mothball, Krista said. And Bellatrix... Trixie, I'm sure you will make a splendid queen. Mothball sneezed and ceased her changing form, which made the queen raise her eyebrow. And please, she said, help your daughter control that. Trixie shrugged. Fair enough, the Queen sighed. I was a terrible mother, wasn't I? Mothra opened his mouth, but Trixie answered for him. Yeah, you pretty much were. Yes, Chrysalis agreed. But you should know, even in my heartless state, you both were important to me. It's hard to believe, I know. Actually, Trixie said, glancing at Moonbeam, I know exactly what you mean. The Queen smiled softly. I love you both. You deserve to hear at least once from me. Mother, 'cause this mothball says he touched her hoof. Chrysalis gasped and clenched her hooves. Her breaths were now short and barely audible. She tiredly lifted her eyes towards the general, raising her to cup his chin. Mantis, she heaved. She drew his face to hers and lightly brushed her lips against his. You're ugly. Her eyes closed and her hood gently fell from the general's face. After a long, shaky breath, her body went still. One of the nurses checked her pulse and hung her head solemnly. The changelings fell to their knees and bowed their heads. The soldiers removing their helmets. Even Twilight and Disco lowered their heads in respect. Mothball held his mother's lifeless hoof, while Trixie embraced her daughter as unexpected tears fell down her cheeks. Mantis gently stroked the Queen's brittle hair and closed his eyes. Even now, he refused to show his emotions in front of her. He looked up as the hoof touched his shoulder. He turned to Captain Kari, who tilted her head toward the Queen's body. The general nodded and put his helmet back on. His horn illuminated, his green aura enveloping the Queen's body. The rest of the soldiers did the same, and together they lifted the corpse from the bed. They positioned themselves on either side of the Queen, Mantis in the lead, and carried her out the door. The others followed, the royal children and Moonbeam first, then Discord and Twilight, then the rest of the changelings present. When they emerged from the bedchamber, there were many gasps throughout the hive. Slowly and solemnly, the procession moved across the hive to a staircase leading underground. Many other changelings joined them. And in the lowest part of the hive was a grand tomb, with the corpses of past changeling queens preserved in crystallized mucus. The soldiers laid Chris's body on the nearest empty stone altar. The soldiers stepped back, except for Mantis, who started speaking a strange tongue that sounded like bees buzzing. What's he saying? Moonbeam whispered to her mother. Trixie replied. He's saying, we are gathered here to honor our deeply departed queen. Although she is no longer with us, the memory of her shall always be preserved not just in crystal, but in us all. May she be rewarded in the next life, and that she may finally be at peace. Discord snapped his fingers and conjured a green rose. Everyone watched him curiously as he approached Chrysalis' body and placed it in her hoofs. Farewell, he whispered. Old friend. As the royals went to say their goodbyes, Mantis took out the ivory chest that had held the Queen's heart and opened it. Inside was a small book, which he had noticed earlier but hadn't gotten a chance to ask about. He opened it to see yellow pages written in ink, each entry dated. After reading a few lines, he realized it was the Queen's diary and stopped, for he felt it was inviting her privacy. Then he noticed a slight bump in the pages. He quickly turned them over and his eyes widened when he got to the middle. There, pressed between the pages, was a blue cornflower. There was a caption below. Mantis gave this to me today. Perhaps the last bit of joy I'll ever feel. He levitated the cornflower from the book and gazed at it in disbelief. He had given this to her the day she removed her heart, and she had kept it all these centuries. The general then looked at the body of the Queen and approached it, laying the flower alongside the green rose. Rest well, my queen, he whispered. Disco glanced at the flower and then at the general. You cared about her a lot, didn't you? Mantis looked up at Jonquil. She may have loved you, Discord, but you didn't know her like I did. He hung his head and sighed. No one did. General, Captain Akari said, we're ready. Mantis nodded and backed away from the corpse. He closed his eyes as he, the royal children, and the other changelings illuminated the horns. Crystallized mucus surrounded the queen and slowly enveloped her body. Everyone watched as she was wrapped into a chrysalis. Her body fits within the mucus for all to see. The changeling's horns diminished and they all lowered their heads for one last moment of silence. Then the crowd started to depart. Where's everyone going? Twilight asked. Our queen is dead, Captain Akari replied. It's time to crown our new queen. She turned to Trixie. You coming, Your Highness? She stammered, staring at the body of her mother. I'll be there in a minute. Akari looked to her general, who nodded in approval. Disco and Twilight followed the others out. Mothball placed Moonbeam on his back and joined them. Mantis, however, looked back at the princess, who was staring at the cocoon. He walked up and sat beside her. It's funny, she murmured. I was never fond of Mother, but I can't help but feel sorry for her. She never was really happy, was she? Mantis shook his head. No. She could have been, though, if she had just allowed time for her aching heart to heal. I never quite understood your feelings for her. He sighed. It never really was a secret, was it? Don't get me wrong. You do a really good job hiding your emotions, but they're still there. Still, why her? I mean, you know she could never feel the same way. He lifted his hoof and caressed the cocoon's surface. You didn't know her when she was doing herself. She was a young, frightened princess who was unsure of what she wanted. She was told her destiny was to take the throne and one day rule Equestria. But every time I saw her, I knew she wanted more. Do you know why she was so interested in Discord? Because she was the first creature ever to treat her as an equal, and I thought it gave her pleasure. She told me so herself. She developed such an obsession with what she called love. When that love was shattered, instead of waiting for her emotions to stabilize, she eradicated them. That only made things worse. Yeah, Trixie heaved. No kidding. The general lowered his hoof and raised his head in determination. But I'm not going to make the same mistake. What do you mean? He turned to her. My sole purpose in life was serving your mother. When I discovered her life was ending, I thought mine was ending too. But I am not going to give up on myself just because my love is gone. I've already lived together than what is average for a changeling. I have a few years, maybe less. However many years I have left, I'm going to spend to make sure you start your new reign on the right track. She blinked. You do that? The love of my life is gone. What better way to live out the rest of my days than to look after her daughter? Trixie hung her head. Trixie hasn't been bashing for such a long time. She's not even so sure she'll make a good ruler. Trixie, Bellatrix, doesn't matter what you call yourself. She lifted her head and stared at the general. After one last glance at her mother, she said, Lead on, General. They flew up to the main foyer where all the changes were hovering above, a path to the throne cleared for their new queen. Mothball, Moonbeam, Discord, and Twilight were standing on either side of the large seat, waiting for her. Mantis put a hoof on Trixie's shoulder and nodded. She took a deep breath and proceeded to the throne. As she flew by, the changelings bowed their heads. She had forgotten how good it felt to have respect from others. She had been a queen once before. This time she was going to do it right. When she reached the throne, Mothball gave her a wink and Moonbeam waved. Trixie smiled and turned to face the crowd. Mantis took Chris's old crown from one of the soldiers and held it out for the princess. Trixie lowered her head so he could place it on her, just as he had done for her mother over a millennium ago. Long live Queen Insectra... Long live Queen Bellatrix Insectra, Mantis announced. Please, Trixie said, holding out her hoof. Just Queen Trixie is fine. The general raised an eyebrow, but started over. Long live Queen Trixie. As Trixie rose to her full height, the changelings and guests cheered. The new queen took her place on the throne. After a few minutes of silence, Trixie held up her hoof to silence them. Silence, you fools! Fellow changelings, she said, as your new queen, Trix... She paused. My first order of business will be to grant you all what you have been denied. From what I have experienced, and what I have witnessed from my mother, it has come to my attention that although emotions can make us suffer and lead us to do things we regret, we simply cannot exist without them. We fear so that we may avoid danger. We anger so that we may stand up for ourselves and those we care about. We regret so that we may learn from the mistakes made by others and ourselves. And we love so that we can make a difference in someone else's life. If these emotions were imbalanced, we may create a void in ourselves, and we spend years trying to fill that void, but all in vain. Our emotions can lead us astray, and we can get hurt along the way. But if we take the time to balance them out, we can become even stronger. No creature must ever have to suffer like my mother did, and no one ever shall again. She turned to Draconicus. Discord, do you think you can do me a favor? Discord shrugged. Depends on what it is. She gestured to him to come closer and whisper in his ear. His eyes widened. Well, I could try, but... You're sure that's a good idea? Tracy glanced at the general, who instantly understood her intentions and nodded. Do it, she told Draconicus. Discord sighed and raised his claw. Very well, but you might want earplugs. He snapped his fingers, and all the changelings, the royals and the general excluded, cried in agony. Oh, my balls! Oh! Many gripped their chests, some collapsed to the floor in shock, and others scratched their heads. What'd you do? Multiple asked. Tracy smiled. I feel the void. You mean you... She nodded. No creature should ever be without a heart. Lieutenant Baum looked up at the Queen. What's happening? Why do I feel... He sniffed. Why do I feel... As the changes started to recover, some of them were breaking out in tears. Others took one look at each other and embraced. In no time at all, the hive was echoing with happy sobs. Governor Kari caught sight of Bombus and blushed. Oh, Bombus, she smiled, rubbing the back of her neck. About you seeking me earlier. I never realized you were so... He interrupted her with a sudden wail and rushed to General, throwing a scissors on his neck. General! He whined. I just want you to know that you're like the father I never had. And that's really important to me, because, none of us have any fathers. I love you, man. Managed to scout the Queen. Change them back. The royals discorded triumphant laughter. I'm serious. Twilight smiled up at Trixie. I guess you made the right choice in coming to find you. Indeed, Twilight, the new Queen said as she watched the subjects rejoice in a new emotional state. Things are going to be very different around here. Wow, I think that's my first real death in these fanfics. I didn't think I'd feel bad about Chris's death, but it had to be done. Seems appropriate that I write this, since I just attended a funeral last week. Bit sad, really. I was originally going to have General Mantis die with her, but didn't realize that might weaken his character. Well, Tracy's not queen, and the reason she's been speaking less and less in the third person is because she's been gaining a better sense of herself. But we're not done yet. There's one loose end that still needs tying, and by loose end, I mean one more chapter. So stay tuned for the finale. Yeah.